What is up, my Ducks and Drakes? Welcome to the Karate Lake, and today I'm reading chapters 3 and 4 of New Rules, a Science fanfic by Bekka911 on Wattpad. If you'd like to check out the author or the book itself, the links will be in the description below. If you haven't heard or read the first two books, as this is the third book in the series, you could do so with the link or with my playlist of all of the books I've read and find this one. It's pretty recent, considering I'm reading them in order. Also, in the description below, there is a link to a Google form where you could recommend fics for the future. So if you would like to hear a specific fic, you could recommend it with the link below. And with that, here's chapter 3. Logan put away the laptop and let out a long, bone-weary sigh. He'd been working all afternoon, drawing up plans and video prep for Thomas. The host was due to start recording soon. Any day, in fact, and Logan had to complete timeable and script planning setup. All he needed now was to give Roman the whole setup, and the Royal would set the whole idea in motion. It was all very intricate, taxing work. He and Roman were the main two that put together video planning for their host, with Roman giving Thomas the creation, Logan refining it all and plotting it all out, and then Roman enforcing everything. It was a lengthy process, often why Thomas's video schedule lapsed regularly. But no matter how long it took, as long it was completed. He still had much to do, though he had paperwork to sort through. Figures to run for when he claimed majority of Thomas's brain functions and guided his host through his significances and lifestyle currently. His workload has been inconsistent lately, with Thomas's fluctuating emotional state. Virgil had started it all, and Logan had been thrown off balance, causing him to act rather douchey. He felt remorse for his actions and his words, and intended to deliver an apology in the near future, but not yet. He couldn't. He couldn't confront that tucked away part of himself yet. He glanced at the clock. It was dinner, and he wouldn't dare miss out on that as well as lunch. He didn't follow Roman's lead and disappear with the soft pop. Rather, he walked the long hallways, finding the simple movements easy and soothing, as his thoughts flitted from strange emotions to fundamentals of their setup in Thomas's head. For example, they didn't need to eat or drink. They required energy, though, and Pedden had been the one to suggest manifesting that same energy in the form of human food and drink, so as to help understand Thomas. If they ate like humans, allowed themselves to act like real people, then it applied to their understanding of Thomas's actions and his body's needs. Logan had agreed wholeheartedly, even if it had all seemed slightly redundant and tedious at the beginning. Then his thoughts would jump through his memories and subject him to thoughts of what it had been like at the beginning. He recalled Virgil and Roman and the rift that had separated the two for so long. He focused more on Virgil, though, his thoughts tinted with the gray of his guilt. He walked faster, as to flee from the looming swell of emotions that threatened to drown him in his logical shield of thinking. "Logan!" Pedden greeted happily, dishing something hot onto 4 plates. "I'm glad you could make it." Logan straightened his tie and sat at the table opposite Virgil, with Roman to his right. "I apologize for being absent at lunch," he said, not really meeting anyone's eyes. "I had some work to complete for the next video." "I must say, the idea of changing character styles was quite interesting," Roman admitted. "Where did you get the inspiration?" "I was looking through YouTube comments, and Patton pointed out that the fans seemed to enjoy the cartoon versions of us. I deduced that they would enjoy another style change, if only for one video. It may also be beneficial for Thomas to face us like that, as it may very well bring to light something he would have missed otherwise." Roman pierced his lips. "You could have just said it'd be interesting." "Could have," Logan corrected. The whale stuck out his tongue, but before he could voice the playful retort brewing in his eyes, Padding carried 2 plates over, placing them in front of Roman and Virgil. "All right," he said brightly, beaming as Roman drooled over the steaming plate of spaghetti and meatballs. "Dinner is served." Glasses with water pooled in existence, causing the air to smell faintly like oranges for the slightest second before the pleasant scent faded and was replaced by the smell of their dinner. "This looks good, Pat," Virgil said, unable to look directly at Logan as the logical side started eating. Logan noticed the hesitancy, and suddenly found his appetite had diminished greatly. Now he just felt lightly nauseous. It was disconcerting, and he frowned down at the plate of food, his pleasantly neutral mood turning sour. Neither Roman nor Patton appeared to notice the sudden awkward atmosphere and dug into the meal contentedly, chatting to each other easily. Virgil just ate quietly and quickly, as if he couldn't wait to get away. Logan ate slowly, finding that the food sat heavily in his stomach and his head ached slightly. He made it through half a plate before setting his cutlery down, finishing his glass of water and pushing away from the table. "Please excuse me," he said monotonously. "I have some more work to do." Patton started to protest, but Virgil murmured something that let Logan walk away without anyone asking him to come back. He locked his door, this time, and worked until his eyes blurred. He slept fitfully. Chapter 4. Logan awoke at precisely 7 a.m. and immediately moved to the kitchen to fix himself some breakfast. This time, it was toast with a side of yogurt and fruit. It was healthy and minimal, as he still felt sick after last night's dinner. He sat at the table, conjuring a Sudoku book and pen. Today was recording day, so he needed his brain functioning. Even though he put together the video plan, he wasn't sure that the actual video would entail. Going on a Roman's comment, it would be focused on a different character style, but that could mean anything. So he worked through his Sudoku, eating his breakfast slowly. By the time Roman waltzed in, complaining about it being too early, Logan had been there for an hour and a half. The video prep was scheduled to begin in another hour. So Logan nodded his head at his fellow's side and closed his Sudoku book. "Good morning, Roman. How did you sleep?" Roman sniffled as he pulled out the carton of milk. "My sleep was wonderful. I mean, I'm still recovering from Dylan's appearance, so I slept deeply, and then I made to get up at such an untimely hour, too. Oh, the heavens hate me." Logan didn't even go there. He chatted to his eccentric, over-the-top, dramatic fellow side until Pat and Anxiety walked in, murmuring quietly to themselves. Logan immediately tensed. Roman raised a perfectly shaped brow at him before turning to welcome the other two. Logan didn't even try to meet Virgil's eyes. "Excuse me," he said quietly. "I have to go perform some small final checks for today's video." He stood up, cleaning up after himself, with a wave of his hand. Patton gave him a sad look as he moved aside, but Virgil didn't even flinch as Logan brushed past him. "You know," the anxious sighed once Logan had started down the hallway, "I always thought you were a dick, not a complete robot. Guess I was wrong." Logan froze, because logically he knew those words had come from a place of hurt. They'd come from a place where there was fear and pain festering, and he knew that Virgil was just trying to let all his pain out in a way that would cause others to feel the same way. But robot? It was that word again. That one little word that settled on him like a brand, like a name tag. Robot. "I'm sorry," he forced himself to say. Turning around, Virgil at least looked uncomfortable. "You've always hated me, and you proved that when Derek came, but I always thought maybe you had a heart there somewhere." His gaze sharpened, and Logan felt a stare like a razor on his skin. "But you don't. You're nothing but cold, calculating, unfeeling. You're a robot, Logan." And Logan stood there, and he could understand everything perfectly. It just didn't make it hurt any less. He adjusted his glasses. "I see," he said finally, and Virgil just shook his head. "Thank you for the feedback. I shall be taking that into consideration." Machine. Virgil spat, and Logan just smiled politely and started walking again, hoping that nobody could see his irrational tears. He wiped them away, though, when he got into his room, because feelings were too icky for him to deal with. So he pushed it all down, down, until it was buried so far under everything he thought he might actually be able to survive like that. He could still hear the words, though. Could almost see them on his face when he glanced in the mirror. Machine. Robot. Thank you so much for listening. I would really recommend you to go in the description and check out the author, as well as the Google form to recommend future fics. There's also some links to my social medias down there. I've been going on my Twitter a lot more for Fander content, so you'll be seeing me on there quite a bit more. Also, there is a link to my Etsy shop. It is the holidays. There is currently a Cyber Monday deal going on, where you get 15% off not every, but like 15% off once you spend $15 or more. There we go. I could phrase it. It's cool. Just thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And much like Roman trying to talk to Logan, just in general, do your best.